I've been interested in Roman wine history for years and written about it in the Shadow of Rome, in Wine Enthusiast in January 2023, and Why is a Vineyard Growing on Palatine Hill in Decanter in February 2024. As a history buff and a wine writer, as I wrote those stories about what Romans were drinking 2,000 years ago, I couldn't help wondering, what did Jesus drink? Barring some extraordinary archaeological findings, I'm not ruling that out, we will never know for sure. But the Bible and Judea provide some clues, and today's visitors to Israel have the chance to learn more about the Bible wine connection through the new wines of the Bible route. The route journeys through Judea and traces the viticultural history of the area. Judea lies between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and includes two wine regions, Judea Hills and Judea Foothills. But let's start with the Bible. For a religious book, the Bible sure talks a lot about wine. Of course, wine was more than a celebratory drink in those days. It was sustenance. The water was not reliably clean enough, and wine was considered the safer bet. The Bible mentions wine in religious celebrations and blessings. Most associate the Bible's wine with its symbolic use as the blood of Christ, representing his sacrifice for humanity's sins. The ritual of drinking his blood in the form of red wine is still carried out in many religions today. Wine has played a critical role in the Middle East for thousands of years. Its production and consumption have significant implications for understanding the cultural, economic, and religious practices in the region, especially in relation to the Jewish presence in the Holy Land, said Emanuela Panke, president of Iter Vitis, the Paths of the Vine. Iter Vitis is the Council of Europe's non-profit organization that promotes and preserves the European heritage of wine and viticulture. Viticulture was a significant aspect of life in ancient Israel. The climate and geography of the region were conducive to grape cultivation, and wine production became a key agricultural activity. Part of Iter Vitis's mission is to educate and help promote historic wine routes. Most are in Europe. Many border the Mediterranean, including the Middle East and parts of Africa. Iter Vitis studies the historical significance of the areas and expands the understanding of wine and culture in the context of this history. Wine is culture, Panke continued. Iter Vitis is reinterpreting the role of wine as a tool for dialogue and cultural integration in a modern context. The Old Testament references wine, vineyards, and grape cultivation, illustrating how vine paths have connected people for millennia. Wine history parallels human history, linking ancient places and times to today. The Wines of the Bible route brings wine and religious history to life. Wine can also bring cultures together. Panke points out that in Judea today, Arabic Christians and Israeli Jews work together in the vineyards and wineries. Wine has been a significant tool for intercultural dialogue in Europe, long before the concept of cultural diplomacy was conceived. The history of viticulture, vineyards, and wine transportation creates connections that transcend geographical borders, embodying the essence of the cultural routes of the Council of Europe. Iter Vitis has consistently facilitated dialogue between countries with different languages, religions, and political systems. Created by Iter Vitis and the Judean government, the Wines of the Bible wine route is not just a wine trail, but a project with current-day cultural effects. In August 2020, the Judean wine region became Israel's first official wine appellation, making it the logical spot to establish the Wines of the Bible route. If there were any doubt, the region's archaeological findings further evidence wine's role in ancient daily life and religious practices. Excavations have uncovered ancient wine presses, storage jars, and remnants of vineyards throughout Israel, particularly in regions like Galilee and Judea, Panke explained. Archaeological evidence points to a vine-growing and wine-producing past dating back to at least the late Neolithic period. Traveling the Wines of the Bible route and sampling wine along the way gives a whole sensory experience. The route offers fascinating places like Ayalon Valley in the Judean foothills, where the Clos de Gaz winery sits near where Joshua defeated the 5 kings. Named for an ancient gat, Hebrew for winepress, and predating the Roman period by 1,000 years, the Clos de Gaz 3,000-year-old grape press is one of the oldest in the world. One of the most famous legends and biblical stories, the Battle of David and Goliath, took place in the southern part of Judea, the Ela Valley, the site of the Ela Valley Winery today. Along with its 5,000 years of viticultural history, Israel has an ideal combination of natural conditions for cultivating wine grapes. The Judean hills vineyards grow on terraces built on the mountain slopes, and Judean foothills vineyards grow in dry riverbeds. Its numerous river valleys bring cool air from the mountains and allow afternoon breezes from the sea to waft over the vines. The sizable diurnal shift, difference in temperature from day to night, helps slow fruit ripening and retains acidity in the grape. Judean red and white wines show fresh aromas and flavors of Mediterranean herbs. So, what did Jesus drink? The varieties grown today are primarily International Cabernet Sauvignon, Carignan, Merlot, Shiraz, Argaucaire, Petit Syrah, Petit Verdot, and Cabernet Franc for reds, and Chardonnay, Colombard, Emerald Riesling, Sauvignon Blanc, and Muscat of Alexandria for whites. It's most likely that Jesus poured and drank Judea's native grapes, Baladi Asmar, Bituni, Dabuki, Hamdani, Marawi, and Jandali, grapes that would no longer exist were it not for the tenacious grape growers and winemakers of the region who are keeping traditions, culture, and viticulture alive.